Well, welcome back everybody to the Film Fan Reviews and happy 2023. Now, this probably won't be the first video I put out, but it is the first video I'm recording in 2023 because I am seeing M3GAN tonight and I'm going to get that one out as soon as possible for you freaks, but I want to talk about some things I watched in December and maybe some early January, but let's just jump right into it with bones and all. Now, this one just dropped out of my top 10. I loved this movie. If you're the faint of heart that doesn't love gore, you might not love it, but it is a love story, and it is a cannibal love story. Now, it's very comparable to Twilight in a lot of ways. Like, I keep making the joke that it's a more well-written Twilight, but it's just a really good movie. It's incredible editing, especially with all the... I don't even want to spoil too much of it, but it is sound editing, visual editing, it's all fantastic. The gore is present very much, but it doesn't really take away too much from that love story. Like, you would think those two are kind of polar opposites, but there's something lovely about this movie, and if you can get past that gore stuff, if you might not like it, I think you'd find a really good story in here. And great performances from Timothée Chalamet, and I cannot remember the other actress's name, but both fantastic. And if you have the chance, go check this out ASAP. Moving on from that one, we did a couple rewatches with Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and not that Johnny Depp bullshit. The real guy, Gene Wilder. He's fantastic. I love all the songs in this movie. His creepy tunnel scene is one of the scariest movies of all time, period. Like a little short film in there, honestly, but it's so scary, but I love this movie. I've loved it since I was a kid. Sometimes I fast forward through that tunnel scene, but watch it if you can. It's so much fun just to sing along with. Another one that I'm considering a new watch, but it's kind of a rewatch, is the 1970 Black Christmas. 1974, I think, is when it came out, something like that. Fantastic movie. I made a TikTok about it, too, to try to promote it, but it's just so good. The 2019 remake, not very good. I didn't see the 2006 one yet, but the original has everything that the 2019 wanted to say, but they said it in a much better way, whether it's all about women's rights, abortion, just a lot of different things that weren't really that popular back then to talk about. And this is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch the original before watching any of the remakes. Moving on from that, we'll just burn through a couple. Santa Claus 3, the only Tim Allen Santa Claus I watched this year, just because for some reason I like that one more than the other two. It's probably Martin Sheen as Jack Frost. I just love his performance in there, and I think it's a lot of fun to go back and forth with Jack Frost and Santa Claus and Tim Allen versus Martin Sheen. Personally, I'm on the Martin Sheen side, even though he is the bad guy. He would have been a better Santa Claus. I digress. It was my first watch of the Smurfs Christmas special, which I didn't know Christianity was present in the Smurfs kingdom, but that's kind of cool, I guess. But the one that really stands out and the one I love so much is the original Grinch. Boris Karloff doing the voice of the Grinch is so fantastic. I mean, it's right up there next to Jim, because Jim is just so fantastic in the live action version, which I also watched, and it's a 5 out of 5, obviously, but it's so incredible. And just to touch on the Jim Carrey, Ron Howard one, the set design in that movie, I get more just in awe of it every time I watch it. The makeup's incredible. The soundtrack, fantastic soundtrack. I mean, we get the Busta Rhymes Jim Carrey collabo, which I love so much. And it's just a great movie. It's a great movie to watch around the holidays, and if you have it, watch it. All the time. Fuck it. Even in May. Watch it. Speaking of Christmas and Santa Claus, guys, Violent Night is the movie to watch around the holidays from now on. Die Hard and Violent Night. Just a classic double feature from now on of just action and fun. Violent Night is crazy. David Harbour is now my Santa Claus forever. He is action-packed, badass, and he's kind of like John Wick if John Wick became Santa Claus. Just so much fun. If you haven't watched this movie, it might be past Christmas, but still check it out. It's awesome. And the action in it is incredible. It's fairly violent, but it's done so in a very comedic way. So I think it's pretty accessible to a wide audience. So go check it out. If you're a fan of David Harbour from Stranger Things or Hellboy, which I like Hellboy, but I digress, go watch this movie. One to not watch is Jack Frost. And not the Michael Keaton one. The Michael Keaton one is fine, but the horror Jack Frost, not my cup of tea. It's some people's. It's very bad, but it has humor in it. Personally, I didn't love the humor in it, and sometimes it's just downright gross, and I can't recommend it. One movie that came out this year that I did watch horror-wise that was just on Tubi is The Puppet Master Dr. Death. It's actually one of the better Puppet Master movies, which that bar is not extremely high, but it's pretty fun, and it has the bunny from AEW in it, and she's cool. Yeah, it's not good, but it's fun. Alright, I'm gonna get a little serious for a moment and not make any jokes, because this is one that I really feel very, very strongly about, and that is Till. Till is one that I was aware of, and I knew it was going to be a hard watch, but I had no idea it was going to be this hard. If you don't know the story, it's about Emmett Till, who unfortunately was murdered in the South for whistling at a white woman, and it was just downright wrong and just despicable actions from those people. And the story is covering not only his death, which they show fairly violently, and they show the aftermath of his death, that the makeup effects on his body were incredible, even though they're horrific to look at, but so are the actual photographs out there that I saw in high school. It's a very horrific action that they did, and this movie is necessary for people to watch and just think about that this wasn't that long ago. People like to say that all this civil rights stuff and slavery and whatnot was so long ago and we should forget about it. We should not. This is a story that needs to be told and need to be shared throughout the world. This is a movie that probably should be showed in high schools, even though it does get fairly violent and hard to look at. But sometimes American history is hard to look at, but we need to look at it to learn from it. Because this shit is so horrifying and just downright wrong. But this movie is incredible. I have to go look up the mom's name real quick because she is well deserving of an Oscar nomination, let alone a win. She is fantastic in this movie and delivers some of the most emotional dialogue that I've ever seen. Danielle Deadwyler. I hope I said that right. I believe I did. She is fantastic, and that is a name you should be looking for. She is fantastic in this movie, and although it is a hard watch, it is a necessary watch. It's a 5 out of 5. Go watch it. All Quiet on the Western Front, the remake. Not even really a remake, kind of like a re-adaptation of the original book and movie. Fantastic movie. It's way better than the original one that won Best Picture, in my opinion. The German dialogue, and please watch it in German because that's how it's supposed to be watched, and it just makes more sense because it's a German war, and it follows German people in the war. It is so good. It's emotional. Some of the war scenes are easily some of the best shot war scenes I've seen. It has you in the trenches with these men, and it is a hard thing to kind of sit in. It's like 3 hours long, but it is worth your time. It's a fantastic movie. It's 5 out of 5. If you're into war stuff and the history behind it, it's a great one. Now, you already know my thoughts about the Avatar movies. We won't jump in too much to that, but the second one is the better movie. We can talk about it in the comments if you want, but it's by far, and honestly, I'm looking forward to a sequel. It's not something I thought, but Avatar 3 in 2024, I'll be there first night. The Banshees of Inisherin, I hope I'm saying that right. Fantastic Irish movie. If you're a fan of Martin McDonagh from like 3 Billboards or In Bruges, you will adore this movie. One of the best dark comedies of the year, for sure. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, both fantastic together. They've starred in Bruges and a couple other movies before, but they're both fantastic, have great chemistry together, and their little back and forth is something that's honestly reminiscent of a lot of people's relationships, probably with their best friend or someone that they know that they just get tired of. It's a fun little back and forth that kind of goes a little too far, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Go check this out if you can, because it is awesome. Amsterdam that came out earlier this year, it's fine. I think it's better than a lot of people said it was, but it's still not great and not anything I'll probably rewatch, but it's not bad. One of my favorite rewatches, and this is the one I sing all the time, The Greatest Showman. If you don't love The Greatest Showman, I don't understand you. Yeah, the actual story behind the real guy that Hugh Jackman portrays, he's not a good guy by any means. He treated a lot of people shitty, but in this movie, I'm just seeing it as Hugh Jackman singing and dancing, and I'm having a fucking great time. I love all the songs. I listen to them on Spotify all the time. A lot of them are in my Spotify Wrapped stuff, and yeah, I could sing it all day, and I probably will sing it right now, but I'm going to try my hardest not to, because you don't want to hear that, do you? This is the greatest show. But yeah, there's just a bunch more Christmas stuff in here. Spirited, great movie. I did not expect to love it as much as I did, but the music in it is so good. Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell, how could you not love it? It's so damn good. It's on Apple Plus, which I didn't even know it was on there for the longest time, but if you have the time, check it out still. I know it's after Christmas, but I think it's still accessible after Christmas. Just a damn good movie. Oh, by the way, I took my niece to see Lightyear at the Michigan Theater. I'll put a picture up of it because the theater is just so damn beautiful. Go check it out if you can. Not the theater. I mean, the theater's in my hometown, but if you can, check it out for sure. But Lightyear's a good movie too. Babylon, fantastic movie. If you're a Hollywood lover like myself, you'll enjoy this movie. It's so damn good. The set pieces are great. Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, both fantastic. Yeah, if you're a lover of Hollywood, you're gonna like this one. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on Netflix. I wish I would have saw it in theaters, honestly, because it's so good. The stop motion is beautiful, all the sets they built. I think they said it took like 15 years to make this movie, and it shows. It's a masterclass in filmmaking. It's a beautiful animated movie. If it doesn't win the best picture or the best animated feature, I will be very disappointed because it's one of the best movies of the year by a mile. So it is now January 5th, and I've already found one of my favorite movies of the year so far, and it's not even a movie that came out this year. Obviously, it's only 5 days in, but it is 1952, Singing in the Rain. I adore this movie. I didn't know I already knew like half the songs just from pop culture, but this movie was fantastic. It's about like Hollywood. It's about everything that I love. Musicals. Whew. It has some of the best music in any musical, period. It's one of my favorite things to watch now. I mean, after watching it a couple days ago, I was watching the videos of it on YouTube, just little clips of the song, just going, singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. See, like, I just love that shit. I would sing it all day, and I would watch it all day. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. It's on HBO Max right now, and I'm probably going to go rewatch it pretty soon because I love musicals, and I love singing in the rain. So go check it out, and please let me know what you think of any of these movies because, honestly, that's the last one I want to talk. Actually, no. My bad. The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans is the one that knocked out Bones and All out of my top 10 and even bumped a few things down because it is fantastic. Now, I'm a fellow Steve that loves movies, and this is directed by Steven Spielberg, and it's a story kind of telling why he loves filmmaking, starting from his childhood all the way up to when he graduates high school, I think, and going into college. It's so brilliant. I love it so much, just talking about his love for filmmaking, where it started, and his story, honestly, is something that I didn't know about, and it's kind of really cool to kind of see how relatable Steven Spielberg is, and where he came from, and all the hardships that he had growing up, being a Jewish man and moving around so much and being hated on just for being Jewish, and his parents not understanding his love for filmmaking, which in some aspects I can relate to. And if you're a filmmaker, you're gonna love this movie. It's literally a director just like telling us how much he loves his job, and honestly, I think it's one of the best times it's the best job that anyone's ever done doing that, in my opinion. We had I forget the one that came out, I think it was Belfast. It was fine, but this one is worlds better. Steven Spielberg just knows how to make great movies, emotional movies. I had no idea the stuff about his parents and everything, but if you're a fan of Steven Spielberg and just a fan of Hollywood and filmmaking and you just love your art so much, you'll probably get something out of this. So check out The Fabelmans. It's not a bad time. It's almost 3 hours long, but it's worth it. And that's all my watches that I care to talk about. There's a bunch more on Netflix that I watch that are honestly no more than 3 stars most of the time. So if you're interested, follow me on Letterboxd. All of this stuff is on there. All of my updates, I make lists on there all the time. But to wrap this up, I want to talk about what I plan on doing soon. I have a green screen next to me literally right here that I plan on using pretty quick, but I'm going to try a few different things, and I want you in the comments to tell me what you want to see. Do you want to see me talk about new movies, old movies, a mixture of those? I have some new VHS tapes that I'd love to talk about, and I have some physical media that I can review. Just let me know, please, what you want to watch so I can make it, and we'll have a great relationship. And if I'm being honest, 2023, I'm really hopeful that it's going to be great. 2022, and honestly, since I graduated college in 2019, life's been not easy for me. I've been in a pretty shitty depression, and obviously the pandemic didn't help, but I've not been feeling the greatest, and I let this slide so much, and this is something I love to do. So please, just recommend anything you want me to do. Keep me motivated, help me out, and I'll help you out with entertaining you. How does that sound? So if you like this video, please like it, comment anything you'd like to talk to me about, recommend anything. Just comment and just have a chat with me. I'd love to talk with you. And if you're feeling down, I love you, and if you haven't heard it in a while, you matter, and you're great. And I will talk to you next time, maybe outside of the movies.